Everybody's here.
Oh, I think I know where Leslie is.
Waiting for the sunset.
Oh,
Want the meeting to be done in time for the
Can
sunset?
everybody hear?
Can you hear me?
Howard, where's
Yeah.
Howard?
Oh, Howard's not here. Oh, shoot. Guess we need Howard.
Well, he's got a minute.
Hi, David.
Hi, Becky. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing, David?
I'm fine, Leslie. How are you?
Good.
good to
Give-
see-
Give Sandy our love.
Thank you. We're all down in Westfield for our granddaughter's birthday party.
Oh, nice. How old?
Oh, she's 11.
Oh, nice. They grow up fast, don't they?
Yeah, 11 going on 40.
Talking back and everything, huh?
I've got 8 going on 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's Howard. And George, I'm just gonna, for safety's sake, make you co-host. Leslie, do you need to be co-host?
Don't know how.
I'm not sure I do either.
It's just so if I crash, you guys can continue
Keeps
without.
going, right?
Yeah.
The plane continues.
It continues anyway, but I don't know how. Hi, Howard.
Don't think he has. There he goes, connecting to audio.
There we are. Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, and he's muted.
I wish the mute button could be used outside of Zoom. It's just mute somebody.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah.
I bet teachers would like to do that.
Oh, yes.
One of the solutions is to screen your phone calls.
Howard, you're muted.
I guess I didn't need a sign, did I?
We gotta come up with a symbol for that we can all use.
Too much nice sunshine out there.
Well, I can hear you, so you just tell me and it'll work.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, fine. Okay, so since we're all here, I'm going to open the meeting. In attendance are board members George Arvanitis and April Stein, Chairman Howard Spetner, Assessor David Burgess, Assessor's Clerk Leslie Bracebridge, and Town Administrator Becky Torres. The first item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes from May 1st. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? And does anybody have any questions or comments about them?
No.
Okay.
They look fine to me.
Well,
Okay,
I'll move us to accept them.
Okay. Did you just move to accept them? I couldn't.
Yeah, I'll move and then somebody.
Okay, I second.
All right.
I second. I vote aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The second item on the agenda is to review and approve the accountant reports. There are, I believe, 2 reports for motor vehicle abatements from May and from June.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or comments about those?
Nope, seems pretty straightforward.
Okay, I move that we accept them.
I'll second.
Okay, I vote aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The third item on the agenda is to review review the 3 preliminary tax commitments. These are preliminary commitments for real estate taxes, personal property, and CPA assessments. All of them are preliminary because we're waiting on the tax rate to be set on the fall. I have a question about this, which is it looks like the commitments are written to include the tax due for the entire fiscal year. Am
No.
I wrong about that?
You're wrong. The commitments are written to commit only the amount that we're committing, which is about half the taxes from last year.
Okay. Because I thought the number was the number on the real commitment I looked like was like 2.5 million or something, and I thought that was the total amount. Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. It's closer to 5.
I'm wrong.
Right.
Okay,
It's 5.5 for fiscal 24. Or
okay.
fiscal 26, it's good. Yeah, fiscal 25 is gonna be 5.5, so it's lower than that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. So I'm wrong about that, and I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the preliminary commitments?
Howard, I just want to understand this. So I understand what the commitment is. But why are we doing half a year now? I would think that we would do it like quarterly for each quarterly billing, or what's the logic?
Well,
Both.
we are quarterly billing, but we send out 2 bills at a time. So we only commit twice a year in June and in December. So that's why it's half a year commitment you're saying at the minute. And that's the way it'll always be.
Okay, that makes sense. I probably asked this question a year ago. Next year I'll remember.
And
Thank
then I can ask.
No guarantee.
Okay, anything else on them? Okay, I move that we approve the 3 preliminary commitments.
I'm just still looking at. So
Okay,
is that the case for all of these then?
Yes. What you're
Okay.
looking at, approximately 50% of last year's actual net taxes after abatements and exemption. Oh,
Okay.
Right. Okay. Okay, so anything else on these things?
Nope.
Okay. I move that we accept and approve the 3 preliminary commitments.
I'll second that.
Okay, I vote aye.
Overnight aye.
Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The 4th item on the agenda is to approve the 3rd motor vehicle excise tax commitment, which was for, Leslie, how much is that for?
$9,783.17.
Okay. That seemed a little high for a 3rd commitment. Am I wrong about that?
Well,
Is it on you?
I would have also commented on the abatement report that these numbers are getting higher and higher, both the commitments and the abatements as people buy new vehicles.
Okay,
They're approaching almost $1,000, some people, for their new
wow,
vehicles.
okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
so word to the wise who can't afford $1,000 for an excise tax that you should buy an older vehicle.
Remember this cost. This is the hidden cost.
This is the budgeting class.
Okay.
I just got my new car on Friday.
Yeah. What was yours, do we dare ask?
Well, it's a Subaru Forester, so it's going to be about 800 a year for the first year.
That's not horrible.
That's not bad.
100 a year? No,
800.
800.
Ah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that is. It's a good
Yes.
car then. It'll last forever.
Well, I know we only lease them for 3 years at a time. I don't want to be bothered with maintenance anymore.
good plan.
Yes.
Okay, so I move that we approve the 3rd motor vehicle commitment.
I'll second.
Okay, good. Let's change things. We'll change things up a little.
That's right.
Gets so boring. Okay, I vote aye.
Overnight aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the remaining Chapter 61 applications, which, as I understand it, would only be Chapter 61B. Leslie, do we have any?
Actually, we do not. At the time that I had to create the agenda, I still was working on a complete chart for Chapter 61, Chapter 61A, Chapter 61B. Everything is in order. Everybody has applied that needed to apply. There's nothing left, but I wasn't sure if there were any laggers at the time of that I put it on the agenda, just in case.
Okay,
So-
I didn't realize you'd gotten all caught up.
Yeah, It was right moments
Okay.
before I left on vacation, and I'm so happy to start the new year
Okay.
done with the old year.
Yes.
Okay.
It took a few midnighters, but she did it.
No, one. It was 11:30.
Wow.
It hasn't been, it was Kevin that asked me to make this chart, and I've been trying to catch up ever since, but it's done, and now it's just a matter of updating each year, and it should be very nice in the future.
So it was a good investment of your time.
Yeah, it's nice to have this chart. We're ready for the
Okay.
2028 5-year review. That's the
Okay.
first thing they said they wanted to look at in our files in 23. Let's see your chapter files. Oh, sure.
You said what? That's what you want to see? And right.
They were very kind and generous.
Okay. Oh, so we don't have a motion. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the overlay release. So in the minutes from the last meeting, there was a notation that said Becky was going to talk to Gail about it. Becky, did you have a chance? Uh-oh.
didn't.
Okay.
I
Okay, so that's
apologize, my bad. So,
okay.
Becky,
Well, I did talk with Gail, and she said, well, it's really too late anyway, because the year's essentially over. So there would be no use for the money anyway. So David probably can tell everybody where that money goes if we release it, or if we should just keep it. I don't know. That's more Becky and George.
If you want to release the general fund, you can. Or, I mean, most times we release it for specific item.
Yeah.
You
And
might.
there's
If the money were released, does it just go into free cash and just carry over until FY25?
Go to the general fund, Harold.
Or
Is that
does it
different
make
from
more
free?
sense to keep it for the next reval as we were doing before?
When it goes in the general fund, won't it be certified as a part of free cash?
But that, yeah, my understanding is you could certify, you could vote it into free cash if you wanted to, or take it out of the general fund into free cash and then it's certified. So, but it takes an action to put something from general fund into free cash. I
Okay.
believe.
more than a assessor's vote.
I don't think so. Yes, if you want to appropriate the overlay access to free cash, that's fine.
Well, I always kind of thought general fund and free cash were, I wouldn't say interchangeable because the budget's also mixed in, but when the budget's closed out, aren't the excess amounts in general fund from the fiscal year transferred to free cash by the accountant when she certifies?
Generally, yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
it's the timing. It's what
Got
time
it.
of year you need to get it into the free cash. But you, David, as you said, the assessors, if they had a need like reval, you could appropriate it for that purpose, right?
No, we could ask you if we could appropriate it for that purpose.
You have to ask the town meeting if you could appropriate it for those purposes.
We'd need a warrant article, in other words.
Yeah.
Right.
But we've been funding that through the budget, and as far as I know, we have adequate funds for revals, right?
We do for the interims. I don't know what we've got for the 5-year certification. I can check that and get back to you in the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. I guess my only question is, do we need, I mean, if we leave the balance, if we transfer this and put our balance to 36,000, is that adequate for the things we need? I know from the finance committee that we're budgeting for reval every year and we're rolling that, that's growing. So I'm pretty sure we have.
$32,061.
That should be good.
That should be fine.
So you could release it to free cash.
No risk.
I mean,
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
It is interesting to me that we're finally transferring the overlay from fiscal 22.
Well, remember, you've got to wait out for the collector and the accountant to say there's nothing outstanding over and above the amount of the overlay that's left. They have to make sure they've got enough money to cover anything that's outstanding. So if they've already closed out their books, then that's good.
Got it. If there was anything on the books, if there was something that wasn't resolved, they'd have to keep it until that point.
But I'd imagine by now all the 22s have either been paid off or they're in tax title, so they're all removed.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I think the question is there, I know virtually nothing about town finance. Okay. Becky and George obviously know a lot more. Is there anything about town finance that that says that we should do this, so that we should move the money as opposed to just leaving it in overlay? Is
No,
there
we just
any
did-
reason to?
Well, we left it until such times as we needed it and then transferred it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Howard, I think the way I'd answer your question is if we don't need it here anymore, then from a finance point of view, we want it to go into free cash. That'll give us flexibility for, future needs. And of course, anything that's dispersed from free cash has to be approved by the town. So
That's correct.
But free cash just carries over from one fiscal year to the next, right?
yeah, we're always,
It never,
in essence, yeah.
just,
Well,
Okay.
we've been spending a lot of free cash in the last couple of years in the library project. We put a lot of funds
Right.
aside. So I think we'll see a lower free cash number this year than we have for a while, which would speak to the fact that maybe it would be a good thing to have the assessors release it at this point.
okay.
If they would be
Um,
kind.
Yes,
Okay. And Gail gave us a number that is like 52,000 something, which
Six.
apparently,
2,673.
which apparently is the total that was appropriated for the overlay fund over a period of years from something like FY18 to FY22. I'm not looking at it right now, so that's probably not quite right. But
That sounds about right.
And she says that leaves a balance of $36,001.22 in the overlay account.
Mhm.
There is no outstanding real estate or personal property balances from FY22 and prior.
And we have no ATV cases either.
Wow, that's good too.
Okay. So the 36,000 should suffice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. I have two questions about that. One is, sorry. The money for the overlay account, the money that goes into the overlay account, I didn't see when I looked at the FY25 budget, I didn't see a line for that. In other words, it looked like nothing was being appropriated for the overlay account in FY25.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Okay, so nothing. Okay, and the second question is,
Right,
Becky-
David? I shouldn't say that.
Well,
you shouldn't.
we account for it in the revenue side of the budget, don't we, Becky? In other words, we estimate how much money we're going to raise from property taxes, and we increase that by $40,000 because we add the overlay, knowing that we need to collect an extra 40,000 because 40,000 might not actually be collectible. If I just made sense there.
40,000 is, you're quite correct. It's collected underneath the cap, but it shows up on page 2 of the recap sheet as a line by itself. And then it's added into the total budget.
Mhm.
So it's under the cap, so you're good.
So it is accounted for in our budget.
Yeah, so it is accounted for, Howard. It's just not necessarily shown in the operating budget.
It's on the revenue side as a reduction of
That's
our
right.
total revenue.
but the total amount of the total amount of money in the overlay account is going to increase during FY25 by some mechanism other
Yes.
than a budget thingy. Okay. Okay.
No budget things.
It's a
Okay.
revenue thingy.
Okay, fine. Okay. So what I was curious about is because in Gail's memo, she said that if we release the 52,000, we're still going to have 36,000,
That's right.
which would imply that there's a total of 88,000 in the overlay account.
All right. She's leaving that 36,000 there because obviously not all the 23 or 24 taxes have been collected yet. So she has to leave enough in there for the outstanding taxes to be left. She's not going to zero out the overlay until she closes the books on the outstanding taxes. So, go ahead.
So the way that the overlay account is going to be funded is through real estate taxes, like they're going to be siphoned off a little bit.
That's right.
That's what David, that's when I said revenue thingy, and everybody said, yeah, that's what you meant, right?
Yeah, essentially, another way to look at it is the amount of money we need to raise to cover the budget. Some of it we know might not be collectible.
That's right.
Might not be collected. So we add 40,000 to that amount. And so it raises the tax
Okay.
rate slightly, but then it gives us a
Okay.
buffer for those $40,000 that we might not collect.
And then when we do collect them, the excess goes into the overlay. Is that the deal?
If the
No.
overlay doesn't get used, and then we make a transfer to move it into the general fund.
That's correct.
Yeah, it doesn't disappear.
But that takes
Okay.
years because from what I'm understanding is this 36,000 represents bills that have not yet been paid for FY23 and FY24.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Doesn't
good
it
system.
also represent what we might need for abatements? Or
Okay. Not that
The
36.
same thing.
not that 36, but this year's 40?
Yes.
Yes.
The
Okay.
abatements and the mean testing, right?
No, not
Well,
the
that's
means.
one of them. Now, the means testing is different.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Yes,
That's
good. That's
Okay.
right. I forgot. We built that in the tax rate. We add a couple cents to
Right.
it.
Right. Okay. So so Leslie started this off by saying that she talked to Gail and that Gail had said, we're so close to the end of the fiscal year that there's no point to this. That's what Leslie said at the beginning of all this, right?
I didn't understand what she was saying, though.
Okay, that's fine, because I didn't understand what she wrote, so that's fine. Okay.
I think
Okay.
he was trying to say that if you were going to use it for a project, you might as well save it for next year because, we aren't going to have another annual town meeting until next year where you could appropriate it for something.
I think that's what she was saying too, but thank you, Becky, for
You
voicing.
could always appropriate. You could always appropriate it at the fall town meeting if you had to. Do you have full time?
Having what fall town meeting?
Well, we've been having
Okay.
special,
We've been having a January town meeting.
yeah, we've been having special town meetings.
Okay, well, then you
Right,
could do it.
but they're special. They're not scheduled.
Say it again, David.
You could do it at a special town meeting.
So I think her
Okay,
is if you voted it tonight, the town meeting can't take action for, 9 months or
Months.
6 months. So you might as well wait till a special town meeting or an annual town meeting is coming up.
Okay, so there's
right,
no
so in that case,
in postponing this.
I would say leave it alone.
And April, you can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So there's no harm in postponing any transfer.
Right. I mean, I think for a while we were like a decade worth that were sitting there that didn't get transferred.
okay,
Well, the only thing I would say about that is I wouldn't mind having it in free cash.
I know, but you have to be able to complete the action, I think, right?
Yeah.
David, that's.
I mean, it sounds like if the money is actually needed out of free cash, we're going to know it well in advance because there's going to be a warrant article. We're going to know about a warrant article a few months before the town meeting actually has to vote on it. We can move the money if we need to.
Well, the warrant article, if FinCom didn't know the funds were available, they wouldn't do a warrant article for money.
Really? They wouldn't just assume, oh, we know it's sitting there, we'll just have them move it. They wouldn't do that.
They
No.
would, only because George and April might tell them, but normally it's not a link to.
George will probably forget by the time we get around to that.
Okay, fine.
And,
Let's get, okay, in that
That's why I
case,
like
let's
the
get
idea of
it.
putting in free cash now. We just, then we can see our free cash balance and we make our decisions by how much we have. But that's okay. It's, you know,
No, let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's make life easy for FinCom. Yes? No?
yes.
Yes, okay,
Can I
especially
ask
because
one last,
FinCom,
David?
FinCom is sitting here. Okay.
Well, Becky is,
Howard, could I ask David, one question?
Please.
Wait, so if, after the assessors take their vote, for it actually to go into free cash, it has to go to town meeting?
It all depends how you want to word it. Do you want to word it as a direct move into free cash or into the general fund?
But could we vote just to pause this right now? Is
Why?
there- Well, not to make the transfer right now,
Well, then you would just not do anything.
right?
I don't understand why we don't want to do that though.
Yeah, why would you not want to do that in a year when you're going to be desperate for free cash?
Yeah,
Right, right.
I mean, if we don't need it in the overlay, then let's put it in free cash where we have flexibility, use it for any various things that may come up, not necessarily capital items, but also dealing with PFAS or the fire station for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, either way, as long as the money's there, you can always transfer it anytime you want to.
Like I said, I just don't know if I'll remember that in the future. And
Then you should go ahead and do it now if that's the way you feel.
you know, I mean, honestly, I mean, it's, you know, we look at our source of funds as being we can borrow, we can use stabilization, capital stabilization, or free cash, or the operating budget.
Mhm.
And nobody's thinking about this pot of money over here. And it's not really something that we've historically used that way.
Now,
Well,
for
then
the, it's been used
go
on.
ahead. I would say go ahead and do it then.
Okay. So technical question. Gail's memo says, please release money from the overlay to the general fund.
Yeah,
Okay. And so,
All right, George,
Um,
before you go any further, we're 4 days away from the end of the fiscal year. So that money is going to be accessed just the way that George said it would be. So it's going to end up in free cash anyway.
mhm.
okay, once it goes into the general fund at the end of the year, it will automatically transfer to free cash.
Yeah, she'll take it out and put it in
Okay,
there.
fine. Okay, fine. So let's do this. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I move that we release $52,673.73 from the overlay account to the general fund.
I'll second that.
Okay. I vote aye.
Renee side.
And Stein, aye.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, everything. Now does this basically account for somebody moves a number from one column in a book to a different column in a book, or one column in a computer to a different column in a computer? Is that basically everything that happens?
Yeah, you're just
There's
changing.
nothing.
Yes, yes.
Okay, there's no actual, like, no money actually moves in a
No.
bank from one thing to another thing. It's just, it's all bookkeeping. Okay.
What was the number one more time, Howard? 52,700,
Nope.
673.73.
673.73. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And you'll have it in the attachments for this meeting too.
Okay, great. That's what I thought, but I was lazy. Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, any topics that we haven't anticipated? Anything that we need to do, Leslie, that we didn't talk about yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh,
No,
okay. Okay. So we need to schedule our next meeting? Yes, we do. Leslie, when's our mix? When do we want to do
Well,
this?
I was gonna ask David, I think every other month is fine unless David has an idea that we should be doing every month.
No, no, not for the summer anyway, into September, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, August, I have scheduling issues in August. Both the 14th and the 21st are out. Can
Didn't
we,
you say September?
Yeah,
The Wednesday after Labor Day. Or,
Labor Day is, sorry, sorry, I'm so lost. 28th,
Labor Day is the
Labor Day
second
is the
September.
2nd, the 4th.
I can
right,
do that.
let me make sure we're not getting holidays too.
David, did you suggest the end of September? That's what I thought I heard.
I actually suggested September, but the end of September is probably fine.
Okay.
The summer's quiet, folks.
I
There's
know
nothing,
that's, I know that September 4th is going to work for me, and I'm not sure.
Well, I think David
the-
said we don't need to meet that early.
You
Okay,
don't
Could you do it by Zoom if it was another time, Howard?
I'm sorry, well, everything's a Zoom. We're doing everything by Zoom, right? We're not moving to in-person meetings, are we?
Not yet.
so how would the 18th be higher?
September, that looks good. I was just checking. And the Jewish holidays are a little late. They're in October this year.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rosh Hashanah starts October 3rd.
Yeah, it's far enough away for me that my calendar is wide open.
Um,
Now see.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out my schedule a little bit. Oh, sorry. Uh, Okay, September, as near as I can tell right now. The 11th and the 25th are fine, and the 18th probably isn't. That's from what I can tell right now.
So let's do the
So
20, the 11th or the 25th?
yeah, the 11th is probably I'm more sure about. So why don't we set it for the 11th?
Okay.
So-
How does that feel to you, David? You've got
Oh,
some,
that's fine with me.
okay.
Okay,
Next meeting is Wednesday, September 11th at 6:30 PM.
Yay, sounds good.
okay.
Perfect.
9/11.
I know, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't click. I didn't think of that.
So it took me a minute too. I guess that's a good sign.
Hope-
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny.
23
Okay.
years it's been.
hard to believe.
24 years. What year was that? It was-
23.
2001.
Yeah, 23 years. Wow, seems like yesterday.
Ah,
I know.
mm. Anyway. Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys.
Move to adjourn somebody?
Yes.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
And our third.
Okay, I vote aye.
Abernethy side.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, good night, everybody. See you in
Good
September.
night, everyone. It was great to see you all.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Mr. Monson.
Have a good vacation, Leslie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
enjoy. Thank you
Yes,
for
Leslie, you deserve it.
Enjoying it.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
April knows.
Oh, yes.
Good night.
Good night.